Hi everybody, Richard Seaton here, the Ninja blogger from imbusinessninja.com, and I'm very happy to have finally found Jenny in the time warp and the wormhole that the Australians set up to try and confuse me. The time zones were all a bit off, but we've made it anyway, and this is going to be me talking to Jenny Giacoppo from Australia, not the Gold Coast as I originally thought. Is that right, Jenny?
That's right, but I do live near the coast. I'm very fortunate. I live one street away from the beach and it is golden, so you could sort of say that, yeah.
Brilliant. Jennifer's kindly agreed to come on here and tell us why she loves the internet, why she enjoys the experience of relating and networking with people and helping them to improve and empower themselves. So I'm not going to say any more. This is really Jennifer's domain, and I'm looking forward to it very much. So I'm just going to quietly sit back now and say, tell us all about it.
Sure, and I will happily involve you because, you know, it's nice to have that ebb and flow with the conversation, but just to start off what you're saying about, you know, what I do love about networking is firstly meeting people like you because, you know, I've been in the personal development mostly for myself for the last 10 years and have been fortunate enough to study it, and I absolutely love it. But, you know, and I've done some things offline with it, but coming online is definitely wanting to be a stay-at-home mum and working more globally on the network, on the web, I think it's going to serve me better. And I just think this is probably more powerful because even though you can go into a room with people and have a chat, this allows people to come in from all over the world at any time. It can be recorded, so it has its big pluses for that. Yeah, but definitely interacting with other people, whereas before in the past, you know, you're thinking a lot of people are at work and you're just at home trying to do your work, but this actually reconnects you.
Totally agree with you, Jenny and Jennifer. And what I find is that the two work very well together. And I personally feel that you need to have the offline marketing and the online marketing because, you know, in the end, you can't beat face-to-face, can you?
Yeah, no, that's right. And, you know, and you're a real person. And I've definitely done more offline. Online's more new to me and it's something I would like to grow, but I like doing both. They both have their pluses, definitely.
So what do you do then? What exactly do you do? Tell us.
So in the past, I've done self-empowerment and meditation. I used to teach like a meditation group for a good, it was about a year ago now. I did that for a good year at a healing centre. And previous to that, I'd sort of worked in a hall doing it. I did it from home as well. I just absolutely love it. So for me, just getting out and doing it, I didn't really care where I did it. It kept growing into different platforms. And it's funny because I sort of started at home and then I went out into a hall and then it went to a healing centre, and now it's gone to the next level, going sort of, you know, on the internet really. But I don't ever think I'll ever totally step away from outside. I think I'll always have my hand in that, getting back in touch with people as well. I've also done like a workshop that was meditation and self-empowerment, and that was a lot of fun. So I presented that, I did that for a day. So I just absolutely love helping people, and it's funny, you know, it's easier than what we think it is. Like, really, this is very cliche, but you have all the answers, and I just sort of try to allow myself to let people bounce off you, because at the end of the day, they kind of answer their own questions. It's just they want to air them, and they think you're helping them, and to a degree you are, but really they're doing it themselves. You're just sort of giving them the tools and pushing, and it's sort of like your chiropractic. You just sort of, you know, an adjustment here, an adjustment there.
Absolutely. many years ago in 1992, my father passed away, and it caused a few internal ripples that needed to be dealt with. And I went off and had some Gestalt counselling. Now, I'm sure you've heard of that. It was basically getting in touch with the feelings, and it was also a bit of interactive stuff went on. And I found it was really very, very helpful, because what it did is it shone a torch inside and showed me where the difficulties had laid, and also how to deal with them. So I loved it. Yep.
Yeah. And there's so many different modalities these days, because there's so many different people. So, you find what works for you. And I think I've written quite a few notes down here, because honestly, this subject is so broad, but I wanted to just narrow it down to give people some pointers and tips. But, as I was saying to you earlier, feeling good is paramount. If you don't feel good most of the time, your functioning level is going to be quite poor in what your results will be and what you receive. And often people wait for their surroundings or for life to get better to feel good, when in actuality, you've got to feel good first to have any lasting results. So, and everybody has the ability to do that. It can be very hard for some people, but it's your birthright. You have the right to find a way to feel good. So it's very powerful, very underestimated, underrated. People don't realise the power of feeling your goodness, feeling wholesome, feeling your wholeness. That's where your abundance is really at. And if they can work on that first, then all those other abundant things they want in their life flow, because you're connected. So,
can I ask a question at that point? What is your feeling about the need that we all have at an early age to seek approval and applause and support, and how much of the energy that you find through self-empowerment is not to do with other people? Is approval still necessary in this self-empowerment?
I think when we're young, we're much more closer to our beautiful self, our pure self, our highest self, if you want to call it that. And we're happy. We're happy to be alive. You watch a baby just, its whole body, before it even talks, it's giggling with its whole body and moving. It just loves and adores life. And we would have all been like that. And as you grow through life, you're happy to just be alive. And then, of course, for most of us, we come into society where we have to behave a certain way. Certain things are expected, certain cultures, ideas from your parents, from family, from friends. And you're constantly having to adjust yourself and stand on your head to please someone. And I think I found that out at a very young age. I remember feeling that, just why can't people just be happy? And I remember I just didn't understand that. And children, they can hone in on that and think, why is it so complex? Why are things so difficult? They're happy. And that's a power that you can take through your whole life and even rediscover. So I think what happens with a lot of people is they move through life, and you see it in teenagers. It happens at times. Some people in their 20s. Some people, it doesn't happen till any age, really. It can be right up till, their 90s even. They have a realisation of, I need to make myself happy. And because really, it doesn't matter how much I do, you're always going to find something else, that other person will find something else that they don't like. And you're constantly having to readjust to please them. So, I think a lot of people, maybe in their 30s, they start to realise that it's different for everybody. I've been fortunate where I think what happened for me when I was quite young, I became quite ill. So, and that illness was a response to not being able to please people. And so from then on, I think I've always just decided to please myself. And I'm still a very caring person, and I do care about other people's feelings, and I do take things into consideration. But then I process it and I think about it and internalise when I make my decisions. But for the most part, I make myself happy, and I do it from a productive way where it's not going to harm myself or someone else. It's fun. I'm just happy. I love life. And if I be silly and it embarrass someone like my daughter, that's fine. I'm fine with that. She'll get over it and she'll look back. So one day seeing that, that's a good quality to have as a parent, to be happy, because your children, they observe that and they realise that you don't need to please other people and impress them.
That's a very good answer, actually, that, I think you're right. We rediscover that need. I mean, it happened to me very recently. I rediscovered that I'm okay and that what I'm doing is great, and I'm just doing things for myself. I'm not out to try and impress or get approval from anybody anymore. And it's a very empowering thing. That's happened to me on several occasions in my life, and I'm sure there are people on here now who can relate to what you're saying about reaching little moments in their lives where suddenly they want to free themselves of the manacles of looking for approval.
Yeah, definitely. And kids work it out pretty fast at a young age, but I think through, having to survive and to survive a classroom or to survive their social life, their peers around them, sometimes they just adhere to what's expected, I think, just to survive. And you sort of, I guess, you put a damper on things for a while, and then one day people can sort of wake up a bit angry and go, hang on a minute, this is my life, what am I doing? And I think the important thing is that people realise that you have choice in life, and your life is meant to be one of joy. You're meant to love your life and live your life. And a lot of people think that, well, that when I have a lot of money, or when I have, that new lover in my life, or when I have that better job or that better house or that better car, they tend to think that, well, then it will get better, or I'll do it then when it gets better. But life really doesn't wait for you. You're the one that's got to go out and get it. And really, you don't need a lot of money, or you don't need to have a great job, or to have a fancy home or a fancy car to start. You can start where you are, and it is an internal job, and it is realising the value of who you really are, because it was there when you were born. And most people have probably heard that 1,000 times and thought, yeah, yes, I've heard that. But it will make them realise, okay, that's something deep within me. People keep telling me it was there when I was born, so where did it go? So
Jennifer, what techniques and methods do you use to invite people to come and see what you do and to start engaging with them? How do you do that on the internet?
So I've done some various things. At the moment, just so people don't get confused, my website is transitioning into more personal development. So if they end up going on there and looking at it, they might be a bit confused as to seeing some different things on there. I've been learning about internet marketing. Obviously, that's a very important thing, because if I want to promote what I do, I need to be able to learn the ropes of that. So just so that they understand, if they do go on, it is a progressive thing and it is growing, but just simple things like, it's like when you start your day, it's important you start with the right attitude. And again, people have probably heard this 1,000 times, but it is very simple. And the problem is often people don't want to do simple. They think that's not enough. So then they go and look for something that has some magic pill, or that's more complicated or more complex. And it's simpler than what we think. And it's just really waking up in the morning and deciding, I just want to feel good today. I just want to give it my best. I'm just going to appreciate or look for things that make me feel good. It's a very simple, really, way to live. And taking the time and being in the moment, you just really then absorb yourself into your life. And I think that's when you feel your fullest. And when you can feel your best and your fullest, most of the time you actually absorb more. You're immersed, you're fully present, 100% of you is there. And you actually begin to enjoy life. So you're working from the inside out rather than things outside of you to please you and make you happy. And it is important to note that, you know, things that are outside of you are important. They're there for a reason. They're there to be part of your experience. They're there to enhance your life, but they're not there to replace that real inner happiness that should be there most of the time. That makes sense.
Yeah. I assume that some of the people who will watch this recording would be quite interested in, you know, perhaps engaging with you. And would you want them to email you, or how would you like them to contact you?
Sure. On my website, which I'll just announce now in case I forget later, it's just www.jennifergiacoppo.com. And there's even a contact form there. People can ask me questions. I'm getting there more and more with setting up things, so it will progress, and it will be very different in 6 to 12 months, I can tell you. And I will be putting out once a week, you know, free content in video content. It helps people to receive messages of how to handle things in life and to keep it simple, and just little techniques you can do. And I not necessarily am wanting to preach it, but more sharing what works for me. Because I think in life, in anything you do, if you look at anybody who kind of is doing okay, they've been applying it to their own life, and then they're sharing it. And that's how I like to see it, that everybody has the ability to really be at the same level you're at. There's really not that I'm here, you're there. And I just love to share, really. So
I'm just about to share your email. Do I put the /home in there, or just leave it at jennifergiacoppo.com?
Oh, you could just leave it at jennifergiacoppo.com. I think that's fine, yeah.
There it is. I've just put it in the chat box. So anybody who's here, have I spelt it right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Great.
That is. Thank you.
Right. So that'll be on there permanently now. So.
Great, and I would like to, in a little bit, just for about 2 to 3 minutes, another thing I'd like to share is another tip, and that's a meditation. However, the meditation is more about, you know, people sort of freak out sometimes. They're like, oh, I can't do meditation, or it's not for me, or it doesn't really do anything for me. But there's different forms of meditation, and it's more about you know, I'm just speaking words that sort of shifting the way you feel. And that's the kind of meditations I like to do, and empowering people with beautiful words. And it's really just tapping into your inner beauty to make you feel that wholesome and fullness, sort of like the way your mother would have talked to you when you were a child. Told you how beautiful you were and how proud she was, and you're such a good kid, or geez, you do that lovely. It's sort of like that, my meditations. It's a nurturing presence. So you relax as well at the same time. So there's two benefits going on there, and there's no trying to relax or trying to focus. It's just listening to the words, and then those words flow. You receive them on certain levels, and then you take that with you. And it's teaching.
True. I was just going to say that I was a victim of some quite negative affirmations at my early age when I was young from one of my family members, and you really have to be aware of how the not so positive words can destroy you, and you really have to find your own affirmations to put a block on those. Do you go with that?
That's fantastic you've brought that up. I love that, what you said, because we've been trained. See, when you're a young child, you are so in tune with your gut instinct, your what they call solar plexus. You're so in tune with who you are. And then when people start telling you you're bad and you're wrong and you're stupid or you won't do well, and they start saying negative words to you, what happens is immediately you start to feel off. You don't like what they say. Sometimes it can be to the point where it can even make you feel sick. But if you hear it time and time again and you're taught not to listen to your gut instinct, you start listening to the intellectual. So you start believing it. So that's a real key point there. Whenever somebody says something to you, if you pay attention to how you feel, that's your internal radar letting you know that's not right for you. Or that's false. That's not true for you. However,
so many people override that instant warning signal, the little warning that goes off. Don't trust this person, and they override it. That's where we go wrong, isn't it?
That's right, and it's because it's been trained into you. But there's always time to make a change in your life and decide. And that's the time when you realise after. Like when I drive down the road in the past sometimes and I get that feeling go left and I've done it myself and I ignore it. No, I'll go right because I'm listening to my brain, not my emotional brain, my intellectual brain. And then I realise, I should have gone left. But it's good because it just reinforces you must listen to your feelings, listen to what they're saying. But in saying that, it's important that you have to be in a good, what you call frame of mind, in the sense that you have to be in a good feeling place. So if you're not feeling good and you're having a really miserable 2 or 3 days, that's not a good time to make decisions or listen to your internal. You kind of actually need to have time out and readjust and come back to your good feeling self. Otherwise, that's when you make mistakes and you thought it was right when it wasn't. So it can be tricky, but all you have to do is keep rebalancing yourself. Often I say to people, it's a little bit like when you're confused or you're tired, that's not the time to make decisions. You know, you say to yourself things like, I'll look at it later. You know yourself you can't make the decisions, and that's what you should exactly do, because you're just wasting your time and then you mess things up. You come on an hour late, just kidding.
Well, I was actually going to say your little voice which said I should have come on at 9:15. What happened to that then?
Well, yeah, like 9. What was I thinking? Last time we came on early. It was good, and I wished I'd done that this time because I would have been ready. But oh well, it's all good. It gets recorded, and everything's a learning. So it's not worth getting upset about, really.
There's a whole load of energy firing out of you at the moment, and so please carry on. I'm enjoying this very much.
Okay, so let me see. Okay, so another point I wanted to make was, let me just see where I'm at. Okay, so I've got a couple of pointers here that really this will help people just if they practice this every day for a month and then keep doing it, it will become automatic. The most important factor is, this is where a lot of people struggle with anything. In life, you have to start where you are. So if you say you want to lose 10 or 15 kilos and you want to be there by tomorrow, that's not going to happen. And that's what keeps that person 10, 15 kilos heavier. They keep thinking, I'll do it tomorrow, or I want it done in 3 weeks. And those kind of thoughts actually create more negative emotions within you, because you can't do that. That's not going to happen. So if you start where you are, wherever that is, whether it's wanting to lose weight, wanting to have more income, wanting to go on a holiday, wanting to have a better job, you have to start where you are to plant your feet on the ground. Because a lot of people, they want things, but then they dream about what they want, which is really powerful and important. They daydream about it, but they keep thinking about that dream, but they don't really do anything to get to the steps of that dream. And their reality is, the dream is wonderful, but their reality is different to what their dream is at the moment. So it's really important to just be real where you are and acknowledge where you are and say things like for me, example, I love what I do, but in terms of bringing my personal development to the web and on the internet, it's a new ground for me. It's not totally new. I've dabbled a little bit over the years, but this year and just like last year, I'm really starting to learn a lot and I'm starting to sink my teeth in and move forward with it. But realistically, if I was to say, well, I'd like my business flourishing, up and running, making, I don't know, 6-figure incomes in another year, I wouldn't put that pressure on myself. That's ridiculous. Firstly, that's not what I'm reaching for right now. That will be really nice down the track. But at the moment, I'm happy to just take my time and grow it and work with what I do know and what I can do. So then as that happens, you make movement, momentum kicks in, and then what happens is it gets really good and it gets fun and it starts to roll out for you. And that's where it's almost effortless. And if people could do that and know that, they would find changes would happen, not necessarily that you want it to happen speedily, but it does speed up, and it happens because you're having fun, you don't care, you haven't put all these like pressures on yourself. It's a very different feeling.
I'd love to share something with you very briefly there, because a few years ago, I was at a point of wanting to restart my chiropractic business. I'd stopped it for a while, and I was looking around, and my wish was to find a clinic close to home in a beautiful place where I could practice without having to drive there. And everybody said that's not going to happen. The following day, Jennifer, I walked down the road along the bank of this beautiful river we have here, and there was a clinic looking for a chiropractor. And I walked in, and immediately I knew that's where I was meant to be. And that was because there was no outcomes, expectations, or anything that I'd listed. It just was me being totally in tune with myself and just moving into the space that the universe had created. And I just love visualization, where I saw myself in my white treatment jacket in this clinic before I ever went to the place. That's how you can do it, when you're in a really good spot. And you know that. Yeah. That's all I wanted to say.
Yes, and you're definitely right. And it comes when, this is the really tricky part for people. People are being told through, various things like The Secret and other forms where, they're getting it through a book, and it's all great and it's powerful. But I think people they're being told to dream it, but they still have an expectation. And as silly as this sounds, that's the key. You're not to have expectation. And people sort of think, that doesn't make sense. You're telling me to visualize something, but not to expect it. And I think what it is visualize and dream about it for the joy of it, and you do the work you need to do, and then let it happen. Let the universe do their job. And I think that's the part that people struggle to let go of, the trust. And
Totally agree with that. Absolutely. To me, the visualization is you put yourself in the position in the future, and then you wait for the creation to just slowly catch up. You don't have to do anything. Well, you have to do the work, but that's where you're not here anymore. You're at the new place, and the mechanics of the creation have to go through their process, and you can't change them. So yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And that's a wonderful thing you've just said. And following on from that, the best way to get what you want is to turn your nose away from it. So you're not waiting, get busy. So I would say to people, if you want something, dream about it, have fun with it, play with it, and in the meantime, get busy doing something else. Because the moment you you take your focus away from it and come back to it, and away from it and come back to it, and you enjoy that, that's when you really understand the power of creativity. Because, and people will say, oh, that can't be, but honestly, I have witnessed things in my life that were effortless. I'd look at something, appreciate it, not want it or anything, and it would show up through, you know, a friend would give it to me or buy it, or I would just happen to find it at the right price, or it would just come in some kind of way that was that wonderful element of surprise. And I wasn't really wanting it. I was happy to appreciate it and love it, and that's really where we're meant to come from. We're meant to love things and appreciate them, but not have that tie to, I need it to fill my life right now. And people find that really tricky because they say things like, well, that's ridiculous because, you know, you need money to survive. You need certain things to survive. And I would say, yes, that's right. You need food, you need money, you need shelter, you need to get in your car to go somewhere. But when you start looking at life as appreciating it, I remember we had a lady, this is a little story, that would come to meditation. She was a lovely lady. And you can tell by some of these people their attitude as to how things flow into their life. And she was pretty easygoing. And she had all these bills coming in. And I showed them like an appreciation for money. So I said to her, appreciate the money that you have now to pay the bills. Just appreciate that you can pay for that bill so you can turn a light on, because it's not until you lose your power or go camping that you really appreciate when you come back how simple and easy life is. So if you start to think about it that way, like, you know, people get a bit cranky because they think I've got this big electricity bill. But when you start thinking about how much it does, it runs the fuel in our house to feed us. It lights our stove. It's the lighting. It's the internet. It's all of those things, so many things, and you start appreciating. I mean, you know yourself, if the internet goes down, you haven't had it for a while, you really appreciate it coming back up. Or if your lights go out, if you had the power out for 9 hours and the fridge is starting to defrost, when it comes back on, it's like that, you know, that appreciation. And really, and that's all I told her. And she literally went out just with a friend one night, never goes gambling, got on a machine, one of those, my husband always laughs at me because I call them, what's that?
One-arm bandits.
Yeah, and she won a jackpot, and she literally won $4,000, and I just loved that because I didn't do anything for her. I told her what to appreciate. She went away and did it. And she paid her bills. She gave some money to her daughter. She wasn't really trying. I think she just naturally within herself learned to appreciate more. And that's the key. It really is. And sometimes we need things to happen. It's not that it's random or that it happens for that reason, but it's nice when sometimes bad things go wrong. It makes you appreciate, you know, the things that are in your life. Yeah.
Tell us more about this meditation. I'm really excited about this. Are you going to be doing that with us?
Yes, I will. And I'm looking at the time because I'm fine with the time, but I don't, obviously we want to be on a time limit as well. We don't want to bore our guests.
Well, I was thinking we'd finish around in about 10 minutes, something like that.
Sure. Okay, so I'm really sorry I only got through one point with that, but what I will do is I did cover quite a bit, so just looking at that, the abundance is within, it's already there, and it's really just teaching people how to activate. And abundance isn't just about money. Abundance is so much more. Money's just that byproduct of all of the things that are around us, the same, anything that's physical, that's swimming around us in this life, those are things that are they're just there. They're there for us to use. So abundance, to me, really is from the inside. It is a feeling of absolute wellness, no worries, no concerns. And people would say, well, how can you just walk around with no worries and concerns when bad things are happening in someone's life or they're struggling? And that is very tricky. And I myself have, I'm not new to any of that. I'm not excluded. I'm like everybody else. And you have to find a way to deal with that. And that abundant feeling is that absolute feeling of well-being. It's that feeling of, and hopefully most of the people that hear this, they had good mothers or fathers or somebody who bestowed love on them and made them feel like they were the center of the universe. It is just that feeling of you have so much love and you can just give. You can just give to people. You're happy to share. You're happy to give. Give in the sense that you can give your time, your love, your energy, your value, your worth. That's an abundance. And I'm going to do that in this meditation to help people open that up. And the idea is to give you that feeling so that when you go through your day, you can sort of regurgitate that yourself. You can make that happen, or want for a better word, conjure that feeling yourself. And then when you're feeling down, you can use it. So I'm going to just, if you can, I'm going to turn my phone off first. This will only take about 2 to 3 minutes.
We just
so
had
if you would like to.
Somebody's just joined us, Natalie, so I just hope she would like to be included in what we're about to do. Perhaps you could say that to her.
Sure. Hi, Natalie. We're just going to do a 2 to 3 minute meditation, but it's not like a regular meditation. It's more of a fulfillment, and it's just basically, I'll just relax everybody and you'll just hear words that it's going to glow from within you, that fulfillment feeling, and you love it. So you will enjoy it. So if you would like to join in, feel free. So I'm going to just ask you now to just close your eyes and just take a nice deep breath in and breathe out. And take another nice deep breath in again. Breathe in and breathe out. And as you breathe out, you can begin to feel your shoulders relaxing. And if you are sitting in a chair, you can feel yourself sinking a little bit. You can begin to feel your body just relaxing. It's very natural. And just take one more deep breath in, breathe in, and breathe out. And with that last breath out, just continue to breathe normally, just listening gently to my voice, just relaxing. And I'll just ask you to relax your forehead and your eyes, relaxing your eyebrows. Good. Just one more deep breath in. And slowly relax. Breathe out. Good. And you're sitting in an upright position. And I just want you to allow the words to flow to you. And just allow yourself to receive whatever it is you want, flowing into you. And I want you to think about a time, could have been yesterday, could be 10 years ago, just a time when you felt good about yourself, when you did something nice for somebody, when somebody did something nice for you. Just find that somewhere, find that feeling. It may be even just now receiving this, and how it makes you feel. And I want you to begin to feel what worthiness feels like. It feels like I deserve this. I deserve those things in life. I deserve love. I deserve that peaceful feeling. It feels like a sense of wholeness. That feeling you feel when you're wrapped in a warm blanket. That feeling when you were a child, when someone was kind to you. That feeling you may be experiencing now in your life. It's a wholesome feeling, a nurturing feeling. It's a feeling of steadiness, of security, of love. It's a feeling of prosperity, safety, happiness. It's a feeling of being brave, feeling fearless. It's a feeling of ease. And breathing and out, because you are intelligent, you are loved, you have purpose. And I just want you to feel those feelings for yourself and know they are always in there, and you can activate them anytime. Give them to yourself. Just a feeling of abundance, wholeness, and peace. And breathe in and out, and you can gently open your eyes.
Wow.
Just simple words, but you know what? Simple people, like I say, people think simple is, it's just not enough. And for some people it's not. But if you can just simplify your life back to basics and appreciate and love, I'm not talking about other people necessarily straight away, it's yourself, appreciating yourself. Everybody is good at something. And if you can get good at patting yourself on the back more, and you know, you look at people who are doing well in life, most of those people, they're not having that negative chatter within themselves. They feel proud of themselves. They may not be boasting it, and you don't need to, but feeling proud of yourself and what you've done and who you are, and you know, what a kind person you are, or you know, how much love do you give somebody? And it's as simple as that. And when you have that within yourself, you're quite capable and confident of doing so much more and for yourself.
Well, I've really enjoyed that session. It's put me in a very still and nice place of self-appreciation. And I really want to thank you for doing that. Very nice.
That's You're welcome.
Is there anything else you'd like to add in before we close this down? Because I have a feeling that it's not a spectator sport. This meditation is something that you have to involve yourself with, and people aren't going to be watching that unless they actually participate. So we'll see what happens. Hi, Kevin. Thank you for joining us, Kevin Chow. Welcome, my friend. We've just been doing a bit of meditation. Jennifer Giacoppo from Australia has been telling us about self-empowerment, and we're now waiting for her next golden nugget.
Well, yeah, we'll have to wrap it up soon. I do have a few other things, but they would probably take a bit longer. But let me just let me see what I've covered.
Back, Jennifer, that's another thing. We could do another one. That's the other thought.
Yeah, and I could be on time.
Well, whatever.
It's funny. People they freak out about meditation and they think it's woo-woo and they think, oh, but honestly, it's not even something they have to sit and do with someone, because I think they feel a bit weird when someone's talking in a low monotone voice. But really, if they could just learn to do that within themselves, a few minutes, like, as this is going to sound a bit silly, but even when you get up in the morning and they go to the bathroom, if you can just start to have a good mind chatter of conjuring feelings of feeling good about yourself and feeling some love for yourself and wanting to have a good day and to see good and do good and feel good, then if you could wake up and start your day like that, you're off on a good start. And you can always bring that into your day when, you know, it's not going so well. But naturally, you know, sometimes people find that tricky, because if they are the problem is if you go on a downhill spiral, you've got to catch yourself before you get down there. And if you get really low, feelings of love are just annoying. So there is an emotional scale that people have to be aware of, and that is their own emotions. They can read them. If you're angry, the last thing you're going to do is want to have feelings of love. You know, they're at opposite ends of the spectrum, but it's knowing that in time that you can gently work your way back to feeling good. Because, you know, we do have high and low moments. So I think, you know, there's a lot of information out there about being happy and if you want things in life, just get happy now. And it's not really about that. It's about feeling as good, coming back around to full circle now, how we started off, but it's feeling as good as you can where you are. And so I know I have my days.
But also being aware that it's okay not to feel good. It's all nothing. It's okay. Right. It's part of it.
And that's that talking about planting your feet in the ground. Not pretending. Not I'm angry, but I'm supposed to be feeling good. That's not. You're just hovering, and it's confusing. If you're angry, then you should go with it in the sense that, you know, you either go work it out somehow, or you try to adjust your thoughts from that make you feel less anger. And it's different for everyone, but, you know, we naturally are meant to be feeling good. Most of the time, that's who we are. That's what you've come from, and you deserve good. And, you know, people talk about the law of attraction, and it is true. You do gravitate towards, you know, like attracts like. So if you're feeling grumpy all the time, and it doesn't have to be just necessarily one time, it's over a gradual amount of time. If you've been doing it for a few days, then you're going to start bumping into grumpy people. And the beauty of it is it's all temporary. So it's just to lighten up, to find things that make you feel good, appreciate life and what is, know that it always can be worse. You know, there's people living a lot worse realities, I'm sure, than most of us. So it's just appreciating, you know, the beauty of life. And
I'm going to suggest that we come back to you and do a second session, because I think there's a lot more good stuff there. Would you be okay if we wrap this up now?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to say before we shut down? As I say, I think 45 minutes is quite a long time. I try to keep them about half an hour normally, because
Yeah.
people's concentration spans aren't that great. Certainly mine isn't.
No, I agree. No, it's good to keep it short. I'm with you with that one. So just want to say thank you for inviting me and allowing me to share my experience and what I've learned, and hopefully it may help some people.
Absolutely. I'm going to put your. I'm trying to work out where your. Oh, there it is. It's all right. I was looking for your link that I put in. It's still there. That's great. Jennifer, thank you so much for putting in. I know it's getting on for midnight down your way. It must be about 11:15 at night.
That's okay. It's yeah.
It's lunchtime here, so it's all good. I got away with it. So speak to you again soon, and thank you so much for the time. I'm going to edit up this for anybody who's interested, which I know there will be people. There's a lot of people who've been looking in the background. I'll also put it up on my blog, and I'm sure you will on yours, yeah?
Definitely.
I'll give you the edited version, or you can have the raw version, which will come on here, because this Blab platform is very good. What they do is they record everything and put it into the members area as a raw recording. So you can always access them here as well. So
yeah, that's good.
You have the last word, Jennifer. I just want to, after that, I'll say now, Alexi's the next guest we're going to have. He's a guy from Finland, and he's a big-time marketer over there and a very nice guy. We'll look out for him, but we'll certainly be inviting you back over the next few weeks. We've got lots of guests lined up, all with different abilities and specialities. So over to you for the last word.
Oh, no, thank you. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to more. Thank you so much.
Take care and speak to you soon. And thanks everybody who has been on here, and those who did come on. It was good to see you. Some of you tried to stay for the meditation. Some of you zipped out immediately we started. That's fair enough. It'll be on the recording. So bye-bye, everybody, and thanks again.